Hi colleagues, this is a video to try to explain some of the features about the course builder that's available under the Instructor tools. So the course builder can be found here. I'm not in icon mode, so that's what it would look like here. Now you probably already know that in terms of, here I'm just going to make that disappear, clicking that again, that in terms of building a new folder in your table of contents here, you can simply create a new unit. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to just put a title here. I'm going to call it Unit 2. Biodiversity, and I'm just going to leave it at that for now. So you'll see there's my folder here. It's currently hidden, so I'm going to make it visible at this point, just for kicks, as the case may be. Now we can easily use the course editor to be able to add things within the folders, but I did want to just share the ability to use the course builder. So especially for those of you that are fairly organized and maybe are starting from scratch, because you've looked at the ministry material that's available to you, and you recognize that your stuff, frankly, is far better, and you're really proud of the work you've done, and you want to be able to bring that in, and you want to try to do it maybe a little faster than simply kind of adding one piece at a time in the editing mode. So we did previously kind of show you how to use the edit course, but I want to show you how to use the course builder. So I'm going to click that on, and it's going to take us to a different page here, and it looks something like this. Now what I have done already in my other tab here, I've looked at my drive because I recognize that what I'm interested in building today is building some things in for the CGR4E, so my Unit 2 on the biosphere, actually not biodiversity, I got to change that, biosphere, and within that really some geographic inquiry about caribou. So I'm pretty organized, I know what pieces I want to bring in and where they're from, so I kind of have that just as a template to remind myself as I go back into my course builder. So obviously in our course right now, this is our PD sandbox, and so that's kind of what it looks like here. But yours, if you're starting from scratch, would be empty. So I'm going to take this biodiversity folder and realize that, here, I'll just put it up top here for us. So at this point, I realize it's misnamed, so I'll fix that later, but that's all right. Within this one here, I recognize that I probably want a subfolder because I obviously have my different units, or rather lessons, within my biodiversity or biosphere unit. And so in this case, I'm just going to drag and drop and put in a new folder in here. Now, in this case here, sometimes you'll get a pop-up warning that'll block this window. So if you see that, you'll have to unclick the pop-up and sort of fix that so you can get this window. So in this case, I am making in my geographic inquiry, and Caribou Canada is what I'm going to call. Now I could add notes here, but those notes don't actually show up for the students. They're more like your own working notes. You'll see too that there are restrictions in terms of start and end dates. Generally, I just kind of leave those blanks. That way it's always accessible based on what I want. And that way students aren't saying, well, I can't access that because for whatever reason, the date's here wrong. So I often just kind of leave that alone. So at this point, I'm creating a subfolder called Geographic Inquiry Caribou Canada. And there it is here. And that was easily done by simply grabbing and dragging a new folder in there for us. So I've created this folder here. Here it is listed here. And I can quickly, if I wanted to, I could upload some files. So this feature works well if you have things on your desktop. So you'll see here, it has a choose file option, so I'm going to choose a file. You'll see it takes me to my desktop. Oh, it's fortunately taking me exactly where I was last, so that was easy. So this isn't what you're going to use to bring things from your Google Drive. If you have things from your OneDrive, great. If you have things from your desktop, great. And so in this case, I'm going to bring in a photo of like the class note that we did, and so I'm going to hit open, and there we go. I'm going to add another file. I'm going to choose my file. And again, hopefully it'll take me to the same spot. And I'm going to use this PDF, Caseland of Woodland Caribou in Saskatchewan. Now, one of those things too, often in your desktop, you probably have Word files. And I would encourage you that if you do and are working from Word files, that you print those as PDFs and upload those, upload the work as PDFs and not as Word files. The reason for that is most of our students on Chromebooks don't have Word, and so they can't open up Word documents. So a lot of our Learn at Home students are finding that currently they can't open up these Word documents, and the old ministry content is built in Word, so it's really frustrating for them. So your options are to take a Word document, obviously import it into your Google Drive and save as a Google Doc, or print it as a PDF and it's available to you. So in this case, I'm having something that I've already converted as a PDF. I've labeled it appropriately because this is what my students will see. So I want to make sure the things that I label are effective for my students as well, so it's easy for them. So I've chosen my 2 files, and then I'm going to upload. Oh, apparently I've already done that from existing, so yeah, I'm going to overwrite that, so not a big deal. It does put a few safeguards in for you. So hopefully it won't take too long to upload these 2 pieces. So again, this works well for uploading things from your desktop, like PDF files, images, as I've done here, Word documents if you really want to go that way, but again, I'd avoid doing so. We'll give it a moment. It's even less fun waiting for these things on a video. There we go. And we're done. And so there's my 2 pieces here, right? So tell you what though, I have other items that I need to include, and they are on my drive. So I'm still within this course builder mode. So right now, within this folder, which is in my subfolder of Unit 2, I've got these 2 pieces now, a photo and a PDF. And I want to make sure this is clicked here. And then in terms of adding content, so your outline builder, you can kind of put temporary discussion things and assignments in. In this case, we're just building content because you have ready-made content and you've got it organized. In this case, you're building from your Google Drive. So in this case, we're going to use a web link. So we're going to create a link. I'm going to drag it and I'm going to put it in that subfolder that I want it to go into. So in this case, we quickly went through things. We have lots of things that we can link to, whether it's an OERB, whether it's a assessment, surveys, third party, like that Google Assignments. So you've seen that video about that one, hopefully. In this case, I'm simply going to grab a Google Doc, and so from my drive. So I'm going to click here to open up. So my window's about this big. So in this case, again, my material, I have it stashed in my History and Geography folder, in my CGR4E folder, and it's in my Unit 2. Just to make life easier, you'll see it's kind of randomized this way. You can change it so it's done by name, and then if you want, I want to sort it by name, and then it's easier to find. So when I pull in my 2.1 lesson, or here, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so I can see my full name, whether it's my lesson or my WS, my worksheet, like it's easy for me to see. In this case, I'm drawing from my geographic area about caribou, and in this case, let's see, what piece am I looking for? It doesn't really matter for this example. I'll just grab this one here. So in this case, it says permission is private. So again, we want to unclick that, so that way anyone with the link is able to view it, and I'm going to hit select. So in this case, here it is. It still has that same name. I can change it if I realize I need a better name that'll be easier for my students. I can take a moment and do that here. So a key piece, maybe for this one, I want the students to have their own copy. So here's the full link, and you'll see after the very last backslash, I'm going to go over here that says edit, drive. Sometimes it'll say share, but we want to change all that and write in copy. At this point, again, I'm going to leave the restrictions blank. You can play around that if you wish, and I'm going to hit save. So right now, through the course builder, I've quickly added 3 elements, and I can quickly go and continue to build in and bring in more things from my drive. At this moment, maybe I'm just curious about, well, what does that look like for my students? So I'm simply going to go to content, and I'm still in that new look view, and then here's my folder here. I can open up, there's my folder, Geographic Inquiry, and then here's my 3 images. Oh, you know what? I want my assignment here. I want that to go first, and then I want them to look at the case study, and then we've got the photo later. So I can, of course, go and add things. If I want to add some information to my folder, I could, same with this one, and then these ones are simply available for us here. And this one may not show it for in this example because I'm in teacher mode, but in student view it should show up as enforce make a copy. So it should work in theory. So that's a slightly easier way perhaps to build your course when you know you have a really organized folder and you've got a course that you've well developed and you want to bring all that in. It's a great way to help you kind of streamline that process rather than using within the instructor tools the edit course and feel like you're kind of building one thing at a time. All right, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of help. It's all new, it's all slightly frustrating sometimes, but the more you do it, the easier it gets and the faster it gets. So hopefully the video is useful for you. Feel free to ask questions as you need. Take care.